Earlier this year, there was a big national protest that I just couldn't miss. And I had a vision for a sign design that became this sign. That's me with my sweetheart. We brought these to our local rally. Lots of phones were pointing our way. Now, I'm not a particularly artsy or craftsy guy. The basic idea popped into my head the Friday morning, the day before the protest. And so there was no more time to hire a graphic designer. But I didn't want to show up empty-handed. So I turned to the robots for some help. For those of you who don't know me from my previous YouTube life, I got that award sometime during the Obama administration. I'm Steve Silver Manatee, your practical AI guy. If you're a busy and important person who feels overwhelmed by the fire hose of AI news and updates, I'm here to provide you with some clarity so you can focus on getting real results. Today we're going to remake my protest design using Google's Nano Banana. This is a free image generator that works with your existing Google account. And the techniques that I'm going to show you today can apply to like any design that has a purpose. Like that includes like logos, flyers, billboards, or really anything that requires precision. All right, let's just get to work here. So there are two ways to access Nano Banana. There's the Gemini app where I am right now. This is probably the simplest starting point for most people. There's also the Google AI Studio where I am right now. It's got some more advanced settings over here that we're not going to get into. This is actually where I built the sign that I'll be showing you today. Everything that I cover here works in either place and actually applies to like any image generation tool you might use. There's one thing to note here. You'll see that Nano Banana is the tool that we'll be using, but when you set this up, you might also see that there is Nano Banana Pro. That is their new paid image generation model, but we're going to be using just basic Nano Banana because it's free and it handles just everything we need for right now. All right, let's just take a closer look at our poster image. So it's pretty impressive, I think. Like just the quality. With our rat here, you've got like the golden hair system. He's got that long, goofy red tie. We've got these little shouting lines. Like I love this thing. So understand that like I didn't get this result on my first prompt. This requires trial and error. You've got to kiss a lot of prompt frogs to find your prompt prints. And like if you've struggled to get something good out of image generators, like that's completely normal. I'm going to show you how to speed up your process of experimentation so you can knock out a result like this that you're happy with in like a single setting. Okay, let's just start with a fresh new chat in Google AI Studio here. And what I want to do is I want to start with a common beginner mistake that I see a lot. So it might be tempting when you're getting started with image generation to jump straight into describing your subject or your subjects in our case. Like for example, if you're trying to recreate our poster, you might use a prompt that looks something like this. Let me just zoom in to the prompt area, something like this. Make a cartoon colonial cat with a rat in its mouth. The rat looks like a certain president with his signature blonde hair, suit, and long red tie. Write the words no at the top and kings at the bottom. Just a quick pro tip here. Notice that I am describing the look of our subject rat without using any particular names. Like this technique can help you avoid content filters that might otherwise like refuse your request or return an error message. So we're going to hit run and we're going to wait a few seconds. Okay, so we've got our first result. It's okay, but it's like nothing like the aesthetic of our poster. It's got the what, it's got the who, it's got our subject elements, but it's like missing the right style that we're looking for. And so when you're making a design that has a job to do, I recommend you first try to find your style and then you're going to add your subject. But if you're far away from the style that you're looking for, or you just try to do a bunch of corrections, you're just not going to have any fun. All right, so how do you find your style? Go right to Google, put in something like cool cat graphic images or whatever it is you're trying to do. Just try to get as close as you can. Might want to select Creative Commons to avoid copyright issues. And then from here, you're just going to start scrolling and you're going to just try to find a style that fits, that you like. Once you do, just give it a copy paste. And then you're going to go back to Nano Banana. So in my case, I already had this image, this cat image that I can't remember where I found it or if I generated it at some point, but I really liked the look and feel of it and wanted it to sort of become the basis for the protest sign. However, like I didn't know exactly how to define the style. I didn't have the language and the terminology. And so what you can do is you essentially can generate a reverse prompt using a prompt like this one. Describe the artistic style of this image so that I can adapt a similar vintage aesthetic to another image. And here's what it generates, essentially your reverse prompt. To adapt a similar vintage aesthetic to another image, you should focus on replicating the style of block printing, woodcut, lino cut, combined with a retro limited color palette. These terms will become your essential prompt ingredients as you are defining your core style. And so you want to copy paste these, remember these terms because they will help you. So I mentioned before that finding your prompt involves kissing a lot of frogs. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show you what kissing frogs looks like. I want to show you some of like the silly wrong turns that just like I've taken in my prompting journeys. So this is an image, another image that I found. And so what I did in this frog kissing exercise is I tried to take this image that I found elsewhere and like, now please apply the above described style to this image, the one that we defined from that cat image. So I wanted to apply it to here too. And then it's just like, okay, here you go. I applied that style. It's like, no, that seems to be nearly exactly the same image. And so there's this back and forth that I'm doing. I'm like, no, that's the same image. Can you try it again? Apply the style correctly. And so when you find yourself getting into a loop where the AI just isn't cooperating, it's often a good idea in this case to just either start a new chat session from fresh with like your last best image or prompt that you had, or you can even go back and edit a prompt within a thread. This is sometimes a good idea if you're like in the middle of a chat session and like you want to stick on this path, but you may have taken like one wrong turn. You can actually just go ahead and edit your prompt and then hit reapply. And this works in just about like any AI image generator tool, or of course like tools like ChatGPT or Gemini. All right, so moving on here. So it's like, let me just get back to this frog kissing. And so in this conversation, I'm like, well, okay, show me the block printed cat as a 1976 style colonial patriot. And it's like, okay, now we're kind of back on the right track here, all right? And that's cool. Make him look like a civilian colonial. And I'm like, okay, remember that mouse from before? Like, can you have him dangling from the cat's mouth? And it's just, it doesn't look right. And one reason it doesn't look like is because it just literally turned the mouse upside down and like attached it. But they're just very different styles. Remember, we haven't been able to generate that style coherence. And I sort of made the mistake of like bringing in another image, which essentially is saying to the model, like, I don't trust you to be able to generate this image from scratch. But it's generally a good idea to just trust that the image generator can do the thing that you want it to do. So my wife says that I talk to AI like it is an underperforming employee who treats instructions as suggestions. So like instead of just telling an employee that they totally screwed up on something, like you might try to ask them something like, why did you do that thing that you did? Or like, How might you do this differently next time? And so in this chat session, for example, I used a similar kind of, I guess, recovery prompt here because like we weren't getting the results we wanted. But I just asked it, like, can you give me a detailed text to image prompt of what you think I'm trying to recreate here? So we're sort of using this similar kind of tone. And it's like, of course, based on our interactive session, here's a detailed text to image prompt that captures the essence. And it generates this prompt. So this is like a new and updated prompt. And it incorporates like those style ingredients that we discovered before. It's generally a good idea whenever you have a long chat that's happening. If things aren't quite going exactly the way you want, it's wise to just start a new chat session and take, for example, like the best prompt that you're able to generate from your previous session, start anew. Because just sometimes when you do that, it sort of clears all of the context, all the bloat that sort of has accumulated in a long chat session. And so I can take this prompt, which essentially is sort of capturing the best of our conversation, and pasting it into a fresh chat session here. Let's see what happens when we use this prompt. So here is what was generated from this prompt. It's not perfect yet, but overall it is better because it's of a coherent style. As you can see, it's got that woodcut style. Like both of these subjects, like they fit together. They look like they were designed by the same artist, for example. And so like we're on the right track. We've got that style right, but it's just sort of these other elements that we really want to refine. And so with this updated prompt, I actually did try it a few times. It had a similar effect where like what happened was like the presidential rat like wasn't quite rat-like enough. Other times there'd be like an extra tail, or in this case, 2 ties. And it's got this wording here, which I didn't ask for. And so whenever you do find yourself a situation where just like the AI generator, just like it's just not following your instructions, it's time to pull out the big guns. And so what we're going to do is something that's like a little bit more intermediate level. Okay, we're going to use a prompt optimizer tool. This particular tool is from OpenAI. They're the same folks that make ChatGPT. But essentially what happens is when you take a prompt, so for example, we'll take this one, our pretty good prompt. Take that, and we are going to drop it right in here. Boom. And so what's going to happen is, I'll just hit optimize. It's going to take a few seconds. It's going to automatically rewrite this prompt using prompt writing best practices. It'll better follow your prompt with a bit more accuracy. It just sort of creates this structure. You can take this, copy that, and then paste this into a new chat session. Okay, so here we are in a new chat session. We've taken, this was actually an optimized prompt from an early chat session, but I used the same tool and we put it in here. You can see it has things like begin with a concise checklist of 3 to 6 bullets. So it's sort of creating a framework for it to check and recheck its outputs in a way. And it creates this. It's a little bit better. Like we've got kind of bad news and good news. Like the bad news is, yeah, this tail thing still ain't right. It's still got some of the tail problems that I had before. It's got one in its mouth and it's got one, here as well. But like, look at this coherency of just the style. Like these things fit well together. The rat looks more rat-like, yet still maintains the current presidential hair. That long tie. It's just like we're even closer to where we want to be. I'd say we're like 90% there. Oh, hey, by the way, if you are finding this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Give this new channel a chance to exist. Like it just takes 2 seconds. It genuinely helps. It doesn't involve any frog kissing or rat kissing. Just practical AI help from a silver manatee. I appreciate it. Okay, we're back to our stubborn rat tail here. Sometimes when the robots just can't be reasoned with, we must compromise to get what we really want. And so in this case, you'll see that I made one final prompt revision that got us our ultimate result. The big change we made. The cat should have a serious expression and be holding a rat by the scruff or body in its mouth. In our original, the prompt before this, we were like, let's have the rat dangling from the cat's mouth by its tail. But every time we did that, it was just generating really ludicrous results. But when we made this little compromise here, we get a new result that looks like this. Boom, we're 95% there. This looks very much like our completed image. And so from here, it's just small revisions. We made, after this, it's just like, okay, give the cat a more colonial hat, get rid of the stuff in the background. We're adding stuff like no, kings, text to it, and getting us to our final image here. Boom. And just as a quick aside, like I asked the AI, please generate an updated prompt that will consistently produce the final image. Here was our original prompt. And so from there, it then generates this final prompt. And I'll put it in the notes below if you are interested in using it. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is we want to download this image. And then we want to upload the image in Canva, because this is where we're going to clean it up. We're going to upscale it so that it's ready for print quality. In particular, I'm most interested in editing out, you see that thing right there, that little watermark? Sometimes you might see, I don't know if you quite see it here, but there's these little like smear marks, and just sort of, there's going to be like some odd artifacts that often come with AI generated images. And I found that just Canva is just the best place to clean those up really quickly. All right, here's a few quick Canva tips. When you are creating a new project, you're going to go to custom size, and you're going to select a custom size that matches a poster size that is actually offered by your local printer. So in our case, I used FedEx Office, and I selected their 18 by 24. And so when you're back in Canva, I selected this recently, but you can enter it in here, the 18 by 24, and boom, it's creating that new 18 by 24 image. You're going to click on Uploads, and in this case, I've already uploaded the file, and I'm just going to drag it right into this area here. I'm going to fill the space up as much as possible. All right, and when I zoom in, you can still see this little watermark here. All right, so we're going to clean this up. The way we do that is we go to Edit. We are going to select the Magic Eraser tool. All right, and I will note that this Magic Eraser tool is a Canva Pro feature, which costs like $15 a month. So to use it, you simply go there, you go boom, and you click erase. Let's see, and it's gone. The next thing you want to do is you want to download the largest possible size of this image. And the way you do that, click share, you're going to click download, and you're just going to jack this thing all the way up to its max size, okay? I assure you it's not going to be that large of a document, but just take it to the maximum size. Use your power, and then you're going to download that guy, and then you're going to send your cleaned up and upscaled image to the printer. And I'm not going to show you how to do that because that is boring, and you can figure it out. All right, here's the final product. Friday morning vision, sign in my hands by Friday evening for the Saturday morning protest. And it's like not too bad. Total cost for 2 of these signs was $35 for the printing, plus about $55 on a rushed art store supply run for all this material. But with a few days lead time, you could probably spend like half of that. Now I want to hear what you think. Like, drop a comment below. Tell me about a time that AI frustrated you. I'll use your feedback to make future videos. If this video helped you in any way, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.